Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. And we're talking about, now let's get serious the first 30 minutes, closing the border. Now in 2016, not 2016, I'm sorry, earlier in 2018 when the election midterm, the media, the deep state media did everything they can to convince you there was no crisis at the border. Okay? Absolutely no crisis at the border. I'm going to say some things that are not going to set well with some people. Because what I can't stand is when we talk about the border and we don't tell the truth of what's really happening there. So in 2018, when the election's going on, according to Minka and Joe and CNN, there was no crisis at the border. It was all fabricated. Remember that? Trump was fabricating the crisis. The caravans were weeks and weeks away and would not get to the border before election. All the above. Kirstjen Nielsen, the Secretary of Homeland Security, everything was being made up according to the deep state media before the election. Trump was lying about the border, and the media was running as many segments as they could about ripping children away from their parents, ripping them away. Oh my God, ripping the kids away. And remember, putting the kids in cages. It was daily that we're putting kids in cages at the border, okay? So now there's a humanitarian crisis at the border. Now there is. Now we have to do something where the border is concerned. And the President of the United States is prepared to close the border. Now let me show you here. And is it a bluff? Okay. Now Mick Mulvaney, which is the acting chief of staff in the administration, Mick Mulvaney says it's not a bluff. Now, what is happening is the media is freaking out, and they're going to tell you, and this is what I want to get clear. They're going to tell you if the President of the United States actually closes the border, they're going to start, and they've done it today, and they started it yesterday on the morning shows, of what it's going to cost the economy. They continue to say, will the president do this even knowing how bad it will hurt our economy? Now the president is cutting off, and we'll show you in a minute, all right, money to El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. All right? One of the biggest drains we have on some of our cash is Western Union, and I'll just use them and not taking them to task, but there's others. Western Union shifting cash to Mexico for years. I mean, we have sent billions, and I mean in the hundreds of billions of dollars, wired into Mexico. Cash. Because the very, I don't want to say first stream of illegals coming across the border were Mexicans back in the 80s and 90s. So why is Honduras, why is El Salvador, why is Guatemala, why are they pushing their people to go through Mexico, all right, into the United States? Why? Who is pushing that deal to get the people here? Who would you think? The George Soros type. They're paying the bills. You think these people are moving all the way through El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala through Mexico, and nobody is making sure that everything's provided for them, getting all the way up to the border, claiming asylum? Anyhow, that being said, you're getting ready to see, all right? I'm going to come back to this one in a minute. Here is yesterday, number 7. Number 7, Chris Wallace, president, threatens to close border over caravan, U.S.-Mexico border. Okay. Number 9, Francis had his big campaign coming out rally on the border. Number 11, MSNBC. We're going to talk about it in a minute. I want to go through these. All right. This is what they're doing today. Trump threatens to close southern border, saying he's not playing games. Okay. Give me number 21. This is 4:05 a.m. on CNN. Administration ramps up border threats. Trump cuts off aid to 3 countries, warning he will close the border. Okay. Give me number 34. This is Fox News this morning at 2:03 Mountain Time, so I think it's almost like 4 o'clock in the morning. Number 34. U.S. cuts aid to 3 countries, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Okay. You see right there, El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, they run right through Mexico. Right through Mexico. Okay. And let's see if I have another one I want to get to. Let's stay right there for just a minute. All right. So the President of the United States plans, let's leave that one up for a minute, to close the border. I hope so. President of the United States has cut funding right there. And the deep state media, what are they going to tell you? Deep state media is going to say, well, if we cut funding to these poor countries, you know, that will make matters worse there in those poor countries. All right? Why is cutting funding important? Because there's a couple things happening, folks. Number one, they're sending children and families. They're sending families. They're sending unaccompanied minors. This is by the thousands. By the thousands, okay? And what they plan to do, the reason these 3 countries plan to do this, is so they can do 2 things. Get the funding, the aid that our government is sending them, plus once all these people get into America, they will start going every Friday, we'll call it, and we'll say Western Union, and they'll start pumping more cash out of this country back to those countries. Exactly. So let's say a Guatemalan family gets in here and they get 3 kids and mom and dad, and let's just say 2 parents and 3 kids, they get in the country. Now, you're housing them for free. Oh yeah, you're housing them, okay? You're providing them free health care. I mean, we're talking about Obamacare, Republicans' existing conditions, and paying for prescriptions. Oh man, no, they're coming in and getting free health care, free housing, all right, and free education. So the 3 kids go to school. Mom and dad get jobs. And they can't afford a house. The government, we give it to them. What do? They run over on Friday. They send money back to Guatemala, to more family. Out of our money. They take our damn money that we're giving them, and their jobs that they're probably working for cash, and they send it back there. So now these countries are getting the U.S. aid. They're getting their people out of there that they don't have to take care of, and they're getting another revenue stream coming in. What does the revenue stream do? It provides them enough money to pay a coyote or get on one of the trains, literally trains or train of bodies moving, and buses to the United States. It continues a cycle. They get in this country, they send the money back, then there's enough money. Because you keep saying, what the hell? And you and I are paying the bill. So let me say this, okay? Now it's spring break. This is where I'm going to say something that people are not going to like, all right? Thousands of these kids are crossing the border. They're going into your school. Aren't you sick and tired of administrators in school working 8 months out of the year, making 150 to 250 and 300,000 a year? Yeah, no joke. I didn't say teachers. Oh, no. I didn't say teachers, okay? I'm talking the brass, the top brass. They have built up our public school system to where you take these administrators, superintendents of schools. I got a lot of good ones. They're friends of mine. But the bottom line's the bottom line. And they're off on spring break. They're all over social media putting pictures of them partying all over spring break, right? Well, good, fine. When they get home, it's nothing to them. If they have 20 more children enroll in school that can't speak English, all they do is put in the budget 2 more ESO, English as a second language, ESL. 2 more ESL teachers on the budget, English as a second language. And then guess what? If there's not enough money, they raise your taxes. Yeah. It's costing us billions of dollars in education. Billions of dollars with teachers, billions of dollars in our hospitals, billions of dollars in housing. But what will they do today? You will hear reports, okay? This is what gets me, is our priorities are so screwed up. You're going to hear reports today on how much closing the border will cost you and I. How much closing the border will cost the economy. How much closing the border will stop car parts from coming in or fruits and vegetables. That's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear the president criticized for stopping aid to these countries. You're going to see the president criticized if he closes the border. You're not going to hear the media talk about the true effect of what's happening in this country. Folks, your country is on a fast pace of financial collapse. That's just the bottom line. They can't pour in here 1 million. Estimated 1 million pouring in here this year. Billions. It's cost. Don't worry about closing the border, what it's going to cost us. I'm tired of the lies. Look at this one here and we'll move on to something else. It's a damn shame that this country, the media, the deep state media, this is the way they play on your emotion. All right? And I'm going to show you right here. This was at 3:10 a.m. Give me number 2. Autopsy shows Guatemalan girl in U.S. custody died of bacterial infection. Number 3. 7-year-old Guatemalan girl who died in custody at border had rapidly progressive infection. Okay? Now they asked Donald Trump, he's at Mar-a-Lago, number 4. Give me number 4. Do you believe, given the rising number of migrant families and children at the border, your administration is equipped to, number 5, handle that in a way that it tries to ensure that children are not dying or being harmed? It's his fault. Every single thing is his fault. It's his fault that children are coming to the border. It's his fault that they're sick. It's his fault that they could be dying or be... What are you doing, Mr. President? I'll tell you what he's doing. The damn guy tried to tell you 6 months ago there was a crisis. He tried to show you the crisis. He said the military, you made fun of him. He said 4,000 troops, 2,000, whatever. You made fun of him. They were down there putting up tent cities. He sent the military to put tent cities up, to put up barbed wire, to stop them from coming across, to try to do everything to solve the humanitarian crisis. It's the Democrats that do not want to help. It's the Democrats that do not want to solve the problem because they don't care if they all come in and collapse this economy for free health. Folks, free health care. Quit letting them tell you pre-existing conditions and dropping the price of insulin medication. Free health care, free education, free housing. Just get across the border and we will take care of you totally. Something's bad wrong here. Shut that damn border down, Mr. President. Shut it completely down. I don't give a damn what the hell comes across that border. Shut it down. And don't worry about what it costs, because what is happening to our local, right here where I live and right there where you live, your local economy is you're stressed, not your economy. Your local tax dollar is stressed. Your property tax, you go to the store, they want another penny, another penny, another penny. And for splosh this, splosh that. Then they're building damn grade schools, building, barns. They're building bus barns and agriculture barns and this barn and that damn barn and this school and this. My God, it's got to stop the damn money that's going out. And we just keep pouring it in and nobody cares. The illegals just coming in. Free, free, free. I better go. We got another subject. Take us out.